Welcome to Sex Talk Radio, a podcast that explores kink and sex through candid and curious conversations. Join me and expert guests in exploring taboos and unpacking what it means to be sex and kink positive.
Made more in like 10 hours of having OnlyFans than I did.
Oh my God.
Working like an 18-hour shift on my feet at the restaurant. So I was like...
Where did those initial people come from, though? Instagram?
Yeah.
People that were already following you?
Yeah.
Today's episode of Sex Talk Radio is sponsored by the HUD app. HUD is changing the face of casual dating by offering an alternative and empowered approach to commitment-free dating. Go to hudapp.com/sextalk, that's hudapp.com/SEGGS talk for a week on me. A quick note, the HUD app is available on both iOS and Android and is available to users 18 and over. Lumi Ray, welcome to Sex Talk Radio.
Woo! Love it. I love this sign.
Yes, girl, we travel with it.
I love it.
Yeah, I learned with Reels, people like don't watch podcasts. Like they like just watch Reels. Like I have these guys slide into my DMs that are like, I love you. And I'm like, what episode do you like? And they're like, I like your content.
Right.
Your Reel.
Yeah. No, actually, even my producer told me yesterday that like Pornhub is starting to do like Reels.
Everyone's so ADHD. Like
literally.
I mean, that's kind of how I watch porn though. Like I'm pretty like
I can nut in like 3 minutes. So I was like,
why not have it be a highlight reel?
But he was like, we could use that for promotion. I was like,
how so? Oh, like
just again posting like little clips of the podcast.
Right.
Especially if like have other porn stars on and we're talking about things that we may need to like bleep out for YouTube.
Dude, if you want to talk to me ever about that.
I want
done a lot of suffering of getting deleted. And
I definitely need to talk to you too about Patreon and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know like that is more like you can get away with a lot more.
Really?
I think, right? No? I don't know.
I'm pretty... Well, I mean, I would love to hear with your journey too. Like, it's a fucking progression. Like, at first I was like, it took me a while to get comfortable even considering having a Patreon. And now I'm like, all right, for the higher tier, I'll show you my whatever. And it's been like...
Well, that's why I'm like, I definitely did someone's podcast and they asked me to get naked and I was like, sure.
Oh.
I was like...
Can we not talk about it? Or?
Oh, we can. Oh. It was just like...
Plug talk? Or what do you mean?
It was Adam, 22's No Jumper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it before there was Plug Talk or something?
It was, I think, right around when Plug Talk started. It was like one of the first things I ever did.
I see.
And they were just like, if you want to like, take off your clothes. I was like, I mean, I do it for a living. So,
so we'll go back a little bit. I know about you because we both spent a lot of our life in Humboldt County.
Yeah, that's kind of a funny like
overlap
that we have.
Well, right when I started the podcast, when it was like at 0, I remember reaching out to you because I was like, there's overlap here. I want to talk about this. God, it's finally happening. And so you weren't born there. Where were you born?
I was born in Newport Beach.
Okay.
But then I like, I just say I'm from Humboldt.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I was born here, but I was
became
raised.
A human there.
I became a person. I spent most of my childhood and adult life there so far. So
yeah. I remember hearing on one of the interviews you did, like, was your mom like hippie vibes to move up to Humboldt?
My name's Lumina.
Okay. My name means goddess. Fucking moms.
Exactly. I'm like, Humboldt moms are different, but it was funny because she was like an Orange County mom.
Okay.
But she was
she wanted to grow weed.
Yeah, she needed to grow weed. We needed to. My sister had brain cancer, so that was what. And she was a single mom. So she was like,
gotta get lucrative.
Yeah. We had family friends that she'd like bought weed from, and they were like, oh, like this is and they were like, we'll set you up with a grow. So it was
really fucking lucrative.
Yeah.
Before it got legal.
Yeah. No, especially around that time. So it was like, like early 2000s. Okay. And
How old are you?
I'm 26.
Oh, okay.
Turned 27 in June.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I mean, when I first started trimming, it was like fucking fun. It was great money. And then it became legal. And now it's like kind of I mean, even Is she still up there? Is that where you go visit her? That's where I go visit my mom.
Yeah.
My mom followed me there.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, she and her partner moved there. And I love visiting, but after, because sometimes I'll start to entertain moving back there because, like, someday I want to live near my mom and, like, have a family. But then I go for a few days and I'm like, ooh.
It's a lot.
We're in a ghost town.
Like, it's just very slow pace. I get antsy. I get too, like, anxious, especially, like, now that I'm an LA girl.
Have a fast life. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm, like, doing... You know, when you are your job, you're like, time is money. So I feel like I'm wasting all this money being here.
That lately.
Like, it's very hard for me to sit still and just like chill in Humboldt. Like,
totally.
Even my mom's like, I get it. But she, like, if she didn't smoke weed, she probably would be the same way.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember, I think coming across your page, did you ever live with Rhea? Our mutual friend? Okay. So I know her. I partied with her a little bit. And then I remember, like, stumbling across your page and being like, she's so hot, like, for Humboldt. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, before you even ever made it down here, I was like, she just seems really hot. And then literally, I think the next time I saw you was when I found you through some other stars and was just like,
you're like, that's
her. Okay. And it all kind of came together. Yeah, I'd love to learn a little bit more about your progression from... Or just tell me a bit, like, so did you go to college in Humboldt or you just started doing the weed thing?
No,
did you trim?
I didn't even trim. I was just
so unique.
I was allergic to it, so I couldn't trim.
Dude, people don't know. We probably need to educate people. Like,
like I can like be in a room when the plants are like just budding, but once it's like they get cut down, once it's like they're all dry, I don't know why it's like the resin or
some people have an extreme allergic reaction, and what I would see is girls,
I would get hives. My nose would get really stuffed up.
Girls who trim would like, and you can also like develop a weird allergic reaction over time, but it's extreme.
Yeah, because I mean it's like a plant, so I'm like it's probably like gnarlier than like any other pollination.
Yeah, but were you ever bummed because like you couldn't make that money? Like,
well, but then. I don't know, it made me be like, oh, okay, I guess I have to develop different skills. Yeah. Because all my brothers could, and my mom and everyone else could trim and grew it. Yeah. So I was like, okay. Started working in restaurants, and then
did you ever go to culinary school, or you just found your way?
Just found my way. It's just started cooking. Yeah. Fell in love with cooking, and then I was doing that for a while, and then actually I worked at a seed bank for a little bit during like 2020 because restaurants weren't really happening for a little bit. So I worked for COVID? In COVID. Yeah,
you were still up in Humboldt.
Yeah,
that's what I am so fascinated about you is like you. It's been so fast.
Yeah,
like all of this LA adventure's been fast
in 2022,
dude.
So I was working for Humboldt Seed Co. for a little bit.
Is that down in Garberville or like
down? No, their property is probably somewhere around there, but no, because I've again lived with this girl. Her name's Hallie Pennington.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a little younger than us, but she's a dope girl. Her and her dad own Humboldt Seed Co. So
cool.
I was working there for a little bit until restaurants became a thing, and then once the world opened back up, I was like, it's time to get the fuck out.
Had you started an OnlyFans or anything like that?
Not until I moved down to the Bay, and I was like, okay, I want to like fully do the chef thing. Worked in like really nice restaurants versus like, not that Rena's Creperie isn't nice, but I was like,
but
it was like a lot. It was like a really fun
bougie.
job.
Like I love following your European adventures too, because like you go do cool ass shit. Like
I can be
you have good
bougie,
taste,
but I'm also thank you. Yeah,
I'm like food and adventures.
I'm like when it comes to I'm bougie when it comes to food and like that, but even
that's what
this is like Zara, which is like the bougiest I'll go when it comes to clothing. I'm like I don't like bags. I'm not a big jewelry person. Yeah. I'm still like a Humboldt girl. Like if you give me options, I'm like, I'd rather just go be naked at the river. But
I think that's also why people like you. Like what I'm starting to learn in my Patreon adventures is like I think people like me because I'm authentic. Like there's a lot of authenticity and there's a little bit of behind the scenes, and you really show that too.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what the point of OnlyFans began as.
I think
it's
so
this,
too.
You get more access to someone. And then people are like, oh, we can fuck on here?
Right. And like the crazier we get, the more money we'll make.
Yeah. But there's even girls that know that just like, well, like they don't have to show anything because they're famous. But like even just that, like they are using it to their advantage in the sense of like, this is just going to be another form of social media. And this is where
access to me.
Yeah, more access. Yeah. You got to pay for it.
I know.
I'm starting to, now I've been a good girl on Instagram, and now I'm trying to be good on Twitter. So I'm like, and TikTok. So now I'm like, be able to monetize on all those platforms.
Wait, what do you mean be a good girl on Twitter? Twitter's not the place, like.
Yeah, but you could still get flagged. Your profile could still
I've heard
get
that
flagged.
if you're doing the not safe for work stuff on Twitter, that like it's really hard to grow organically, and
that's why I'm like, I already have such a big following. So now I'm like, and also I'm just like, go on my OnlyFans. Like,
yeah. Did you create another account on Twitter, or you're just cleaning up what you post?
I have a not safe for work one and a safe for the one that's like my big following is the safe. I turned it into a safe for work one.
Okay.
So hopefully Daddy Elon lets me make money.
Daddy.
Because I saw this girl the other day, and just like with engagement on her Twitter, she was like making good money. I was like, that's nice.
So they have a subscription model now?
They do. Okay. And also I think it's literally like you get paid out just based on like, you know, I'm like, I could be funny on there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. Like kind of like I think have the way like YouTube is. So
views, engagement.
Yeah. Like that. So I'm like, okay.
You are funny. So
I'm like, I'm gonna try to use this Twitter to get something more.
It's good to be fun. TikTok's a good place for humor as well.
Oh,
I don't know if you had some viral videos on there? I haven't found your TikTok, but
any video that's been viral of me has been on someone else's TikTok.
Sure. Yeah, it's really hard to talk about porn or any fucking thing. I've been deleted at like 55,000, and even now I just got a new burner phone so that she and I can start playing with some behind the scenes stuff. And I'm like, even the fucking corn symbol though, it's just all bad. They know what you're up to.
I know they're starting to realize like corn is corn, backdoor. Like there's so many things you can't say.
Well, so Instagram, I feel like they intentionally have their algorithm. It's kind of dumb. Like also, I just love nerding out about this stuff, so I should reel it in here. But like the Instagram algorithm intentionally doesn't pick up on certain things, whereas if you have the corn emoji next to star on TikTok, it knows what you're trying to say.
Okay.
It's this whole thing.
Noted.
So you moved to the Bay.
Yeah.
And when did the OnlyFans idea pop into your head?
My friends were like, hey, we want to like start a travel fund. So we're going to start OnlyFans. You should do it.
How many friends?
They're just like all these Humboldt girls. Yeah. And there's like two of them, Cassidy and Utopia. Again.
So
like,
Humboldt.
So Humboldt names. Cassidy's named after a Grateful Dead song.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's so hard to paint a picture of Humboldt for people if you haven't been there or lived there.
I literally just tell people, I'm like, it's a little fairyland. We got, I'm like, I don't know how else to describe it. Reggae, fairies, and Grateful Dead heads, and
lots of psychedelics.
Pot, like a lot of pot. But no. So they were like, I had already done like a lot of nude modeling at that point.
In Humboldt? Or, in the
just
Bay?
like just as fun. Like I already knew I was comfortable being naked, no matter what. And I actually like made some sex tapes with like ex-boyfriends, so I already kind of was like, this makes sense. Made more in like 10 hours of having OnlyFans than I did.
Oh my God.
Working like an 18-hour shift on my feet at the restaurant. So I was like,
where did those initial people come from though? Instagram? People that were already following you?
Yeah. Okay. And then I literally, like I said, I started doing consultations with Sawyer. And she helped me a lot.
Strategy.
And because I'm like, this is a business. This is like, there's a good way. There's money to be made, and I want to do this right. So then I discovered Reddit, Twitter, started promoting stuff on there, and then through Twitter is how porn companies reached out, and they were like, "Have you ever considered?" And I was like, not down.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't tell anyone I was gonna go shoot. I was like, I'm gonna,
in LA.
Yeah. Well, I was actually shot my first scene. I shot my first scene in Arizona.
Oh wow.
Yeah, exploited college girls.
Oh, hot.
I was like, okay. It was fun. I just remember having fun, and it was just like.
Do you only do girl stuff?
Pretty much now.
Okay.
Yeah, or I'm like really choosy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right now, I'm just doing girl. I don't know. It's just like more sensual. It's more like represents like, I don't know, the kind of stuff I want to post.
Yeah.
Like really pretty, like lesbian sex.
Yeah.
On my OnlyFans. And they love it. Like a lot of my fans like love that. Like that's where they see me be a switch. Because with men, I'm very submissive. I'm very like.
I love talking about power dynamics.
Yeah. Yeah. But with women, it's like with certain women, it's either like it brings out the masculinity in me or like the femininity, and it's
fun.
It's like the only time I feel like I get to, there's even some women where it's like I can go back and forth. It's like we're both switching the whole.
Two switches are the whole
scene.
Yeah.
But
fun.
yeah.
I can see that. I feel like you have good masculine energy. Like
I was raised by a Taurus.
I feel like you're the type of person that had a lot of guy friends.
Oh yeah, I still do.
Okay.
I live with 3 men.
Oh my God.
I live with 3.
Yeah, I feel like masculine energy feels like good for you, healthy for you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like my dad wasn't really in the picture, but instead of like...
Yeah, now we're both in sex work.
I know, we're both in sex work.
Make fun of us.
I know, that's why. But I'm like... When he found out, he was like, "Is it my fault?" I was like, "No." Otherwise, I would have told you and like been like, "Look what I'm doing." But I was like, "No, it has nothing to do with you. Who I am has nothing to do with you at this point. It's all yeah." But yeah, so I feel like I definitely craved masculine energy, but my mom was like a very masculine woman and very strong, fiery mama. So
and you have brothers.
Yeah, I have 3 brothers.
Wow.
4
Holy
brothers.
shit.
And then my sister's a lesbian, so
oh my gosh.
I'm the oldest, so it's like I was also thrown in like a very mature role really early on
because she was hustling, growing.
Yeah, and also like not having like a partner, I almost pretty much was like that role for her. And now, like, we've definitely talked about it, like, the older I got, and we've built a very good relationship now. But for a while there, like, even for a while, I didn't leave Humboldt because of how codependent our relationship was.
Codependent.
And it's like, I realized, like, it was such a beautiful mom and daughter relationship, but it was also, like, she knows that now. She's like, I needed to let you fly. I needed to like let you leave the nest and become more of who you are. And now she's like, I love who you are now.
Yeah.
Even now she's like she's in her 40s. She's turning 50 soon.
Oh wow.
And
she was young mama?
Yeah, she had me at 22.
Okay.
And now she's like, because of what I do for work, she's like, she like is discovering like her like self-love and like learning how to pleasure herself. She went on the phone the other day and she was like, she called it oh my God, what did she say? She worded it so funny that I was like, what the heck? But she like discovering herself, I was like, are you talking about flicking your bean? And she's like, yeah, but she was she's like so much more like
reserved.
She wasn't very comfortable with her sexuality, and she, I guess, like hearing about all my stories and like kind of seeing like my journey, she's realizing like there's power and there's like there's so much self-discovery through your sexuality.
Mm-hmm. So. And I think just even talking about it at all helps people. Like I get messages from people that are like, I tried this crazy new fucking thing in the bedroom because of you. And I'm like, I never talked about that, but they just, you know, giving people the permission to explore and get freaky.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Mother-daughter relationships are interesting. My mom and I had a bit of a fracture in our relationship because of the podcast. Mm-hmm. And even though she's like gay and very progressive, like it was just like, oh, you're talking about that online. Mm-hmm. But it's helped us break the codependency and we kind of had a fracture, but like now we're coming back together slowly as adults, like as two adult human beings.
No, for sure. My mom was like on board, and then there was like a few months where she was like, you know, which I was like,
questions,
and then
kind
also
of concerned.
just kind of like we didn't talk for a little bit, and then she called me one day, and I love this lady. She was like, I was listening to Esther Perel.
Oh, great!
And I realized, we have different relationships with sex, and she was like, and now I see, like that. Yeah, like this is healthy for you. This is something you enjoy doing. And just because like this is something I could never see myself doing doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. Mm-hmm. So,
absolutely. And generationally.
So shout out to Esther Perel.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Dream guest.
And generationally, it's hard. Like it's always been a hard thing to explain to my parents, even sharing anything intimate, not sex related, on social media. They're like, why would you want everyone to know that from high school? They don't. They think like I have some mental issue because I want to like share.
My mom thought I had Asperger's at one point. I was like, no, I'm just okay with the world knowing everything.
I see what you're saying.
Like anything that I keep hidden from the public is based on like a relationship I have with someone and their privacy.
Absolutely.
Like I don't talk about my relationships a lot. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, and that's based on that person's privacy. I'm like, now I'd be like, this is his Instagram. Look how hot he is. Look, guess what we did yesterday? Like, I'm very much, anything I keep private is based on someone else. Otherwise, I'm like,
open book.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys ask whatever you want.
And I think that's what I like about your social media account compared to other people in the industries. It's just like, it's run by you. On Instagram, it's authentic. Like, you share random shit. Your feed isn't a bunch of, like, crazy photos of your asshole. Like, it's...
Like, yesterday...
I mean, people can pay for those, but, like...
no, but, I mean, even, like, yesterday, I just posted, like, my dog sitting on my feet. I was like, yeah, got myself a pooping buddy.
Like, it's just... I think that is a bit of what is starting to be missing from the world in a way. I'm doing a lot of research right now because I want to build some type of tech product in the sex workspace. And what I've learned through this new Patreon thing is like guys will pay me really high ticket, like a lot of money to take it offline and do like one-on-one sexting. But it is because it is this relationship. So we're still communicating every couple days. Like it's more than just like buying a photo.
Well, that's what like OnlyFans also drew people towards. They want the girlfriend experience.
Sure.
But a lot of...
It's become pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And no shade. I mean, I'm like really glad people are making money and doing their thing.
Sure.
But
no, for sure. You know. But like, I got paid like custom for a custom the other day, and
was it the one we talked about?
Yeah, the person just wanted me to give like a review of my 5 favorite movies.
What? That's so cute.
Yeah, you know, but it's like they know that I'm a big film buff or like.
Were you naked?
No. It wasn't even a video. Great. They wanted me to write out like...
That's fucking like romantic. Frame it or something?
Oh, wait, no, I did make a video. I think that's what it was because I was like, I'm just going to... But it was like just me going through like 5 films and why they spoke to me and why they're on my list.
Okay, this is actually... Make a note of that. No, I'm just kidding. Like that like that's what I'm... This is my theory is that people are, you know, especially as AI is starting to come into sex, it's like... Are guys really going to sext with a bot? Like, I don't know, probably, but like at the end of the day, like they really want to connect with the person. Yeah. And so that's just a very cute experience.
That's why I'm like, I feel like a lot of people love my OnlyFans because it's like.
What's that like? I have not subscribed. Oh. Like, is it still also personal in that way?
Yeah. And it's just very much like.
I've seen your Twitter.
I keep them updated with things I'm doing and kind of just. Yeah, just
ever like typed like written updates or
mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, or like little videos or. I stopped sharing BTS stuff because a lot of times they think that's a scene I'm filming for OnlyFans. So I was like, no, this is like
behind the scenes on a porn set?
Yeah. I'm like, this is for kink.com. No, this isn't going to be up on here. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. They would get confusing.
They're like, where's the scene? And I was like, okay.
Somewhere else.
I was like.
How do people pay for kink.com? Is it per video or is it a free website?
I think it's you subscribe to it.
Okay.
But yeah.
I've heard.
My friend the other day. I saw him at the bar and he was like, you ruined, which is fine, but he was like, I can't go to kink.com. He's like, you're all over.
Oh, really?
The site.
Okay.
He was like, and that was like the one site I was subscribed to. And he's like, and now I just see like
my friends
squirting everywhere.
Oh my
and
God.
I'm just like, I was like, that's the only thing I feel bad for is like family and friends that I might have ruined like websites for them. They're just trying to scroll on my van. They're like, well, now my boners.
There's my niece.
Yeah, something. I'm like, oh,
whatever. We'll pay for your, nursing home someday.
That's like, it's fine.
So kink.com has been around a really long time, I think, like forever.
Yeah, definitely.
And how did you get connected to that? And what kind of?
I'm actually trying to remember.
I think I've seen you tag the guy that you do scenes with. He's old school older.
He's a dom. We don't have sex. He just doms me out.
Fuck yeah.
I think I remember I wanted to. It was when I was like self-booking, maybe. But yeah, and through that, I was like, this is the only person I really feel safe with exploring that. So it's kind of
it's a very vulnerable, risky thing. Like I was really slutty on Field for a while and just took a guy's word for it that he was an experienced dom. Yeah, and it was not great sometimes.
Yeah, no. So that's why I was like, I never
gotta find the vetted dudes.
Yeah, so I was like, well, and it's all on camera. And there's even been like moments, and now he's like one of my favorite people. I love JP. He's like very like Papa Bear energy, but it's also like the dom. I don't know.
Daddy dom.
He's definitely daddy dom. And
nurturing and will spank you really great.
Yeah, pretty much. And through that, I learned I didn't really like impact play, but what I did like is like the
sensation play?
And like also just being like having someone be in control of like everything. I like breath play too. But
were you gonna say that you figured that out while you were filming one time?
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, and so that's like nice though because
you feel comfortable enough to say.
Yeah, and you just usually if which it looks like it's part of the scene, you just say mercy instead of like stop or red. Right. But you'll say mercy. But one time, and this was like after I've done many scenes with him, I've realized he was like putting a blindfold on me. And we haven't tried it since this happened, but I started crying. I started crying, and then he took the blindfold off. He just held me for a second. Because I was like, oh, like when I was sexually assaulted, it was from the guy had his hand down, so I couldn't see. And so for me, like I realized like blindfolding, it triggered that. Sure. But I was like, whoa, like that's why I like shooting kink because I'm like discovering like, oh, there's still some healing we have to do there. Yes. And he lets me do that in that space. And I get paid. So it's like paid therapy almost. Yeah. So it was that. I remember we did that. And I think he maybe even didn't cut it because he was like, that was such a. I told him, I was like, I'm fine with people seeing that. Like, that's what happens sometimes on set. And it was like you break character for a second and then it's just like you go back into it. And he's like, but yeah, it was weird. I just remember being like, whoa, like we've done so much crazier things. Right. But as soon as the blindfold was on it, I was like, oh, this is like a part of control that I'm not ready to give up yet. Even with someone who I this is like someone I've given so much
right
in scenes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's you never know how your body's going to react to trauma triggers, and I think that like before I really dove into kink, I would hear people be like, it's healing, or like shibari feels great, it's healing, subspace. I just like didn't fucking, I was like, okay, whatever. Like fucking, and I also put everyone that was into BDSM in this like box of like latex and leather and dungeons and yeah, like the leather scene.
Because for me, it's like all my scenes, and that's what he's like, it's so funny. He's like, because it's like everyone else that he films with gets flogged and spanked and smacked, like loves impact play.
Damn.
And he's like, and your scenes do the best, because I'm like, I just want to be like loved
baby.
on. I'm like, I just want to be loved on. And
there's like, for me, there's a sweet spot with impact play. Like a little bit's okay, but at a certain point, I'm like, okay, it's too much.
Yeah, no, especially like if you leave marks on me, then I'm pissed. I'm like, but that's the other thing too, is like, also like no other set have I been on do we have like the biggest consent list.
Ooh, okay, yeah, tell me about that.
It's like 3 pages of like things you check off, what you're okay with. Can you be marked? No.
Does he have to memorize all that shit though and look at it?
Yeah, but he's you know, he's a professional. He knows what. So yeah, I'm like, every set has consent lists and like little things that you felt, like what names do you like to be called, what names do you not want to be called, what's going to trigger
by the
you.
person you're with?
So, and then your scene partner goes through that.
Okay.
We all go through that. We sign it. But yeah, kink.com, it's like several pages that you, because he's like, again, it's like, this is a space where you can discover, like go explore, but you need to know that you're safe. Like, even if it, like, we're in character and, you know, like, I don't know. I'm, like, trying to think of, like, words he'll say. Like, sometimes if you say, like, oh, God, he's like, God can't hear you. And he'll just, like, choke you out. I'm like, okay. But it's hot.
So, yeah, take me through the process of, like, booking for porn, like, what that looks like for the multiple parties. Or
well, most girls have an agent.
Yeah. And you said you didn't at first when you moved down here?
I did, but they were awful.
And then you did self-booking.
And now I've been self-booking for 2 years, Like, I literally had an agency just for, like, a few months.
Yeah.
And I was like, not for me. Because I was like, I feel like I could get better shoots, and you know what you want, and I know what I want, and I knew what I like, and I knew that, like, I could negotiate better prices, and I was like, I'm pretty much just paying this, like, old white dude to forward me an email. Like, no, I'm not. But some girls also just, like, don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So
well, and some people's brains aren't, like, into that shit. Like, I can email all day. Like,
I'm fucking already on my phone and shit all day. Like, of course I can. And I'm also persistent. Like, even when I was with the agency, I was like, I know I knew I wanted to work for Erica Less. So I reached out to Casey Calvert, who directed or does, I don't know if she's still directing for them, but.
Was Erica Less the Hopeless was with?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so how I got that role, I told Casey I just was persistent. I was like, hey, I would love to, like, work for you.
To Erica's team or to her directly?
No, to Casey. And I was like, I'll even PA. Like, I'll do whatever. So she was like, oh, okay. So I PA'd for her one day. I was there. I was the first one on set and the last one to leave. Girl. I was just...
You're like, I'm fucking here.
Yeah, I'm here. And she was like, afterwards, she's like, send me an audition tape. She's like, forwarded me a script. I read for 3 different parts.
Oh, wow.
And she sent that to Erica Lest. And they told me, like, they're like, we want you to be the main character for this movie. I just realized Hopeless was actually not Erica Lest. That was actually just OnlyFans. But Blind Date was the name of that movie. Okay. And my character was Sam, who is a bisexual photographer, and I was like, perfect.
As we do.
I was like, I love photography. I was like, I don't know, I date men, but I definitely love women, So yeah, but
and
yeah,
Hopeless
and
won an award though, right?
Yeah, that won XBiz Best Featurette.
Yeah,
and that was just for OnlyFans.
Wow, like what do you mean for OnlyFans? Like they paid, or OnlyFans paid for it, or
no? So
that's the only place it debuted.
Yeah, Holly Randall reached out and was like, "I want you and Casey to do this movie with Jeffrey Dawn Hart." He specifically kind of wrote it with you two in mind, and we were like, "Oh, okay, for sure."
Cute.
Which was funny too, because like I never saw myself as like a great actress, but I realized too, like,
I mean, compared to
but like I'm not Meryl Streep, but I was never like in my head. I mean, I've always loved movies. Like the way I dissect films, like.
People
I can't watch film. Yeah. But I can't watch a movie now without studying everything.
Wow.
So it's like, it's really hard for me to get wrapped up in a movie. It's like, without being like sound, lighting, acting.
Wow.
And thinking about like even like how that was written and like how that person delivered that line. And sometimes I hate it. I'm like, I wish I could
just relax and enjoy the movie.
Just watch a movie. But
so
I mean,
the standards are really low for porn acting.
Yeah, no,
and
for
so
sure.
To have skill, like, I mean, I watched some clips from Hopeless, and I was like, oh, this is like a real ass movie. Like, lighting, sound, like it was because when I first started watching porn, I remember being kind of disappointed because I wanted more of like a plot line, but like a believable plot line and believable sexual energy and interaction. And like I think you're really good at that.
Oh, thank you. My favorite one finally came out too for Dorsal, and that one was called Amuse Bouche, and it's about, again, it's so funny, like people will be like, I have this role with you in mind. I'm like, oh, okay.
You're like, no pressure to do it.
Well,
but
they were like, it's about two chefs. Like, well, one's like, it's a chef movie, and my character is at culinary school and starts with me in Paris. We filmed it in like Silver Lake.
Oh my God.
It's like, yes, this is definitely Paris. Starts with me at culinary school, and I'm much more like bougie and into the fine dining thing. My dad owns a restaurant, but it's more like an American diner kind of situation.
You've got the big Parisian dreams.
Yeah, and but then my mom passes away, so I have to move back to LA, and Nathan Bronson plays my love interest, but he's like my ex-boyfriend from high school, but my dad always loved him, so he stayed and helps my dad run the restaurant. And so I decided to move back to LA, and I'm like, I'm going to make the restaurant nicer and all this stuff, and he's like, me and Nathan, like, it's so funny too, because like he is one of my favorite people to act with, because we both feed off each other. Him and Tommy Pistol, I love doing scenes with, because it's actually, I can like really,
the chemistry between the two of you.
Yeah, and like and Tommy Pistol plays my dad in it, and there's like, that was the first time I cried on cue.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's like I discovered I could cry on cue. I can like. Because in my day-to-day life, I'm not someone who gets, like, big with my energy. So I was like, how am I going to do that, like, a job like this? Because I also, like, I like being good at things.
Sure. But, yeah, you seem pretty neutral energy-wise.
Yeah, like, I'm not, even, like, fighting, like, past relationships, like, getting in fights, I don't scream. So then but me and Nathan are, like, bickering the whole movie. And then we, like, kind of, like, we start realizing we both need each other. Like,
this is very wholesome.
Yeah, it's like a very wholesome movie.
Does the fucking get I don't know. Is it wholesome fucking?
No.
Okay.
But we fucked in a restaurant.
Fun.
Which I was like, I did do this in real life.
Yeah. I heard about that on your podcast.
Yeah.
Too. Hot.
Yeah.
Anything you're not supposed to do is just
it's so
extra
fun.
Hot.
And now it's like that's probably my only like fucking thing that really excites me. Like
kink.
Yeah,
vibes.
but I'm like I still love sex. Like for me now, off-camera sex, I just want it to be intimate and passionate. But I'm like, if you want me to get like excited,
If you know me and you watch the podcast, you know that I like watching porn for my self-pleasure rituals. One of my favorite websites to go to is xoafterglow.com. What I have found with mainstream porn is that a lot of it is created for the male gaze. It's a lot about the man's pleasure, and it just doesn't feel super authentic and connected. What I really love about Afterglow is that it is for everyone, and it is founded by a woman. I've actually had the pleasure of working with her here in Austin, and I love their mission. You can also find educational porn on their website called EduPorn, and there is just so much to learn and watch there. So go to xoafterglow.com and use code XOTHEA.
It's like fucking public. That's
okay.
Like, that's my only thing right now.
Well, it's also the energy of like, there's cameras on you, lights, camera, action, and then there's money involved. You're getting paid. And so it's probably like the arousal of all of that is now getting wired of like, this turns me on.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm like, well, no one's around. No one's looking. We're doing something bad. But yeah.
Yeah. Have you, I mean, it doesn't seem, you don't seem like somebody that would get nervous. Like, do you get nervous on your first time shooting porn?
No, that was kind of...
Was that Arizona?
Yeah, I was like, that was one of the things I was like, oh, I guess I should do this. Because I was like,
You don't feel any type of way.
I was like,
And you trusted the people you were communicating with about it? Like, it all just felt vibey?
Yeah,
all right.
The first guy, the first
I'd be
scene
nervous
partner.
as fuck.
Well, I also, like, my first scene partner was Tyler Nixon, and he is just like... He's gorgeous. And he's
You're excited.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is... And of course I found out after that, I was like, oh, okay, not all porn men look like this.
Sure.
But a lot of them are very respectful and communicative because it's like, this is our job. And I feel like men have a lot more to lose if they do some shitty or shady stuff or... make a girl uncomfortable even.
From what I've gathered, a lot of the girls are friends. A lot. So, like, if a guy did something sketchy...
And like, then that,
like you could blacklist a guy pretty quickly.
Literally. Yeah. Like, someone's like...
Welcome to the group chat. Like, don't fuck this
pretty
guy.
much. Like, yeah. My no list got real big once I...
Really?
Just from not even, like,
not people,
working with... Just from that, just hearing girls be like, this guy fakes it, doesn't get shots when he... gets an STD, like he won't go get the gonorrhea shot. They're like, he just tries to cure it naturally.
Oh my God.
I was like, no. list.
What else?
Yeah, I'm like, let's see. Sometimes some people just gave me that vibe just through like Twitter or like seeing them
Energy's
around.
Everything. Us hippie gals.
That's why I'm like, So, I just built my no list based off of like, that like anyone who's on my no list, I actually there's probably like one or two that I had shot with, but it was, and I had good experiences, but then heard like a girl had bad experience. It was like, nope, sorry, like you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
I also just think I give off this vibe that like male talent know not to fuck with me. Like I'm not gonna get, because there's some people I'm like, really, he did that, and I'm like. Kind of seems like a little bitch, but okay. But then I'm like, maybe just around me, he seemed like a little bitch and tried to, do something to another girl on set. But word travels fast, so
definitely. It's a big city, but it travels fast. Yeah. So
like, you gotta be a good boy.
So you generally exchange like STI results with partner, like every time you shoot with somebody.
Yeah, we have to pull out our Oh yeah,
because of like OnlyFans policy or.
No, just I'm not gonna.
Well, just to not get an STD. Or STI. Okay.
Yeah, right. I get tested like depends on like how much I'm working or if someone. But 7 to 14 days is the requirement for set. Okay. And depending if like there's like an outbreak, like or if like someone's like fuck, like everyone's got fucking. It always happens around like. AVN time, and that's why I'm I'm not shooting with anyone. I was like, y'all are. I think it's just Vegas. I'm like, something's in the air in Vegas.
Right. Well, and what I've heard is that when everyone goes there, they're like, great time to optimize all shooting content with everyone.
Like, fuck no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in a fucking Vegas hotel room, I'm good. I'm good. But that always happens. So
that's so funny.
Avian happens. People are like 7 days, 7-day test requirement. They're like, fucking y'all got nasty in Vegas, and we know it.
Porn is like, you guys, it's just like its own fucking universe. Like up until recently, I hadn't been following a ton of people in this space, more so like sex educators and stuff. And I'm following a bunch right now, and it's like, it's just its own little world of like going to the award shows and the events and all the things, and like it's just
it's a family,
alternative universe.
Yeah, it is. It's so. It's like, I don't know. It's so funny because it's like, I'm exposed to so much, and then like I'll go to, I love like the comedy world, so I'll like go to like the store or interact with people. I'm like, this is so
vanilla people.
Yeah, like
I feel that way too.
Like I'm the one I'm the friend that has all the crazy stories. Like people are like, you gotta do stand up just to literally talk about a day on set. I'm like, I guess I could.
Have you played around with that at all?
I've written some stuff, but I've not. I want to start doing like open mics and stuff because it's fun.
Yeah, and, absolutely. I haven't seen too many porn stars do open mics and go to the comedy store. It's good.
No,
good vibe.
And people are like, you do porn, like you could do this. I was like, no, making people laugh is so much more different than making people come. Making people come is a lot easier. Yeah. I'm like, I think doing stand-up comedy is a much more vulnerable and naked almost act.
Because I've seen some people flop at like the comedy mothership, in Austin, and it's like I went to an open mic there, and I was like, oh, it's like the most painful thing to watch somebody.
I do want to do Kill Tony when I come to Austin.
Oh yeah, you should.
Like, so we'll see.
Yeah,
because it's like what, 3 minutes.
Because they rotate through a bunch of people.
Okay.
And then they destroy you if you suck? Okay, great.
Or they just, and that's why I'm like,
I'll come watch you. I think it's on Monday nights.
And I love all those guys. Like, all the
tell me about that. Because I remember when I was first researching you, I saw the wood bang thing. So you really wanted to bang comedians.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. What was I was just really successful at it.
Making it happen.
I did. But now I'm like, oh, well, they're sluttier than like anyone I know.
I mean, comedy is so having a good sense of humor and being funny and smart is like my pants will come off. Like it's
that's why I'm like you can be,
and that's why they get
and that's
laid
why, and then they're like, well, I'm sure like comics that like got any like when they get a little success, they start to realize they're like, I can get laid.
Yeah.
I've looked like this my whole life.
Right.
But
now I'm funny.
Now chicks want to bang me. So yeah.
Tell me more. Resentment or?
Yeah, so it's worked on a few actors too.
I'll sign an NDA.
I have it, so I'm like, I could name drop, but one of them I'm like, I'm still friends with, so I'm like, I'm not going to out him.
But just sliding into the DMs vibes.
Yeah. And that's what I would say.
We love a dominant woman making moves.
It's not even like I would say dominant. I just was like, I'm lazy. I don't really want to pretend like I don't want to fuck you. But
like chit chat.
Yeah, or even chit chat. I'm like, I see you viewing my stories. I see you, so all I would just do is slide in a DM and be like, Woodbane. They're like, huh?
Huh? What? Where are you? What are you up to?
They're like, are you real? I was like, yeah, I'm just horny.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very...
And this was before porn.
Really?
Yeah.
But you had OnlyFans and some sexy pics?
Nope. This was like the first time I fucked a comedian. You were
living in the Bay?
I was living in Humboldt.
Oh my gosh.
We
love this for you.
21.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you drove somewhere?
Yeah, I went to a show in San Francisco, and because he was like, where's the nearest city? Because I was like, yeah, you're definitely not coming to Humboldt anytime soon.
No tours.
And I was like, San Francisco. He's like, oh, I have a show there in October. You should come. And I was like, okay. Went to his hotel room. Had weird sex. And was like, but got like free tickets. So I was like, I guess this was worth it.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was just like, oh, it's pretty easy. And did it a few more times and kind of just was like, I think, yeah, I racked up like at least like 6 comics on my roster.
Did you develop feelings for any of them and then realize the fuckboy element of stand-up comedians?
Yeah. One of them I went to San Diego with, and yeah, I was like, but I was also like, I just don't think there's this chemistry we thought was there, but I had this idea. That was the first time I was like, wow.
A fantasy.
Yeah. And he was really hot. But he was kind of just like, I was just like, this isn't
the vibe.
And then I just started realizing, I'm like, comics are...
They're literally so on tour. Like, I feel like even people in the porn industry, it's like,
well, now I refuse to fuck comics because I'm
we've come full circle here.
Yeah. Well, because I'm like, I want to be in the comedy space. I want to be taken seriously in that space.
Sure.
So now I'm just friends with them.
Yeah.
Because I also realized I could do that. I'm like, I'll have to fuck my way into comedy.
I've heard people can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, yeah, especially my one friend, he used to be an agent at CAA or at one of the big agencies. And he's like, I've had to do disgusting. He's like, as an agent to get people's scripts, he's like, I've had to plow some dogs. I was like, that. Okay.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I think people will do.
I'm like, it sounds like Hollywood's more. Now we got all these documentaries coming out. I'm like, and you guys
have a lot of documentaries coming out.
Porn?
I know. People have so many outdated judgments about it when it's like, you guys are actually have the most responsible sexual health of anyone.
Yeah.
And communication,
and
consent,
sex.
Like all of this stuff. It's like.
Yeah. So, now I rarely have sex off camera because I'm like.
What do you mean?
Well, I actually.
With a partner?
Well, now I do. Okay. Right now I do because I have someone. But, but my main thing is always like, it's like rare for me.
Oh, like
you're
saying like a random, because there's going to be more risk, literally.
Yeah, I'm not losing work for this guy.
Dusty ass.
Yeah, this dude from Raya. No.
I've heard that's not all it's cracked up to be.
It's not. I promise you. It's more.
Oh, you can be my second referral. Woo.
It's more fun for me to just see who's on there.
Totally.
But
yeah,
at this point, I don't even use it to. I even changed it to here just for friends, which is a nice thing because then you could kind of use it
famous
for
friends.
Yeah, you're like you can use it for networking.
Yeah.
Like so that's why I'm like I see like directors and like casting people on there. I'm like
sure. You're like hello.
I will swipe right.
Yeah.
But no, it's not like the 2 dudes I've actually dated off of there ended up being just like
tools.
Yeah, just LA. I'm like, oh, you feel like you're like God's gift to women, maybe?
Yeah, a lot of
that. But they
here.
like to pretend like they're going to be your boyfriend. And I'm like, ooh, I don't do that. Like, I don't do games. I don't do. I'm like, again, like time is money. Don't waste my time. Like, I'm not here to do a little dance and be around the bush. Again, too, I'm like, I'm also the girl who, if I do like you, obviously I'm going to fuck you. Like, so I just, I'm like, it just seems like Raya's filled with phonies. Just phonies.
And the time is money thing, I've been really feeling that a lot lately because I've taken on this like mommy dom role on social media and it's really fun.
Yeah.
And I'm actually like in dom school right now and I have like multiple submissives. It's like a whole thing and I love it. And sweet submissive men are literally like giving me hope for the world because they're so sweet. And but I'll have these guys, like recently somebody slid into my DMs and was like, well, before I would give you any money, I'd really want to like get to know you better. And I'm like, honey, I understand. And mommy's fucking busy and she has a full-time marketing job and the podcast and like, but that's kind of what I want to like shift in the sex work space is like, men feel uncomfortable when it feels really, really transactional. Yeah. And so I'm like, and so I kind of positioned it to him as like, I understand that you don't want it to feel transactional. This is actually helping pay for mommy's flight to LA. Yeah. And it's going to buy me some nice dinners. And it's like, it's not like I have a fat bank account and I'm like, just give me money. Like it's not FinDom energy.
No. And that's what a lot of times, even with like OnlyFans, that like
guys can get kind of triggered. Be like, you think I'm just a bank account, or like I don't know.
And I'm like, babe, this is job.
Work.
I don't know how much more clear I can be.
Yeah.
But I still value this connection. I still value, like, there's you. Like, you gotta give me money, but you gotta, but this is
I care too. I do.
But this is I'm like, you have to know if you value me, I will value you and your time just as much. But you gotta pay.
And I think people like watching this or hearing this that like that aren't very sex positive are just gonna be like, you don't care about those men, and it's like I really do.
I've fully like have almost like friendships with a lot of them. I mean, it's online, but like they're kind people.
Yes,
that's what like OnlyFans has kind of like given, or like paid sites. I feel like have, I don't know. It's like all these men respect sex workers. All these men, like there's no one on my fucking page that's gonna be disrespectful,
right? And there's already do you have an entry, like a general paywall, like $10 a month or something?
Yeah.
Okay. So like I think that's always a good idea. I mean, I actually can't speak as an OnlyFans person, but like to have a little paywall, it weeds out some of the bullshit at least.
Yeah. And I have like a free page and then no PPV, which means no pay-per-view, but you have to pay a subscription, but then you get to see all the videos. But the free page just has like safe for work photos of like me and Johnny Sins or me and being like, if you want to watch this, you got to go to that place. Yeah. Because it's good to just at least so they know. I didn't figure that out till recently though. Like having a free page is just as good traction to.
I'm seeing a lot of people doing that. Yeah.
And then also but people like try to talk to me on there and I'll be like, nope, you got to go. You got to go there if you want sex and chit chat and get to know me. But the free page, I'm like, this is just promotional. This is just like,
dude, you guys have to do so much. Like, I have people come to me and they're like, I really want to do like, I mean, I don't have to do much because the like podcast is this weird kind of funnel for men that want to give me money, which is great. I wasn't expecting that, but like for people that have OnlyFans, I think like, and you can give a more accurate warning of like, it's a full-time fucking marketing job because you have to have all these layers of like, okay, you're hot, but not getting violating community guidelines on Instagram. Yeah. You're sexy tits out on Twitter, but not fully, like, you still have to leave the viewer wanting to go pay. Like,
exactly. There's a whole
There's so much fucking content happening.
And there's so much, like, branding. There's so much that, like, goes into it. And that's why I always, like, I'm so grateful that I got connected with Sawyer right at the beginning because she was managing.
Who is this wizard? What did she do?
Not your publicist. She has the right mind and the right intuition
to help you build a personal brand without like it's not like a logo. Like maybe you can explain what that means.
Yeah, exactly. Because she's like, you are your brand. And I told her, I was like, I like my name, so that's why I like Lumi Ray. I was like, that makes sense.
Up until that, were you going by Lumina? Okay. And Lumi Ray was a little
but people always called me Lumi, like, so I was just like Lumi Ray.
It's cute.
But yeah, like she would talk to me about things that like I wouldn't have thought of, like as a brand. And she's like, because you're so naturally pretty and you got, she was like, the way your hair is, she's like, I feel like you give off this like 70s guys vibe. She's like, so I feel like you need to grow your pubic hair out. She's like, you should have she was like, you look like a girl who should have a bush.
Okay.
And then once I did, like, the dudes like lost their shit because it's also like, it's red.
Yeah.
People are like, oh my God, you're a natural redhead. I'm like, yeah. But stuff
do you have
like
one
that,
right now? Like it's maintained?
Yeah.
I feel like bush is like,
it's
cool
in.
Right now.
It's coming back. It's coming back. Feel like, but it's also like, because that's why she's like, you don't look like a, porn star. She's like, you look like the girl next door. So, but you're a woman. Like, she just gave me tips.
What were the other tips besides bush? We love bush.
I'm like trying to remember. She was like really play into the cooking thing. So like she helped me write my bio and just like stuff like that. She was like, there's so many qualities you have.
Yeah.
Monetize on that.
Well, and I think the cooking thing too, it's like it creates even more of that connection of like, this just hasn't been her thing the whole time, just making all this money. Like it's like, she has a story and these other skills, and it's like bringing that humanness to it.
Even like, it's so like, again, I have subscribers that like will send me pictures of things they cooked.
Today's episode of Sex Talk Radio is sponsored by the HUD app. HUD offers an alternative approach to commitment-free dating and is geared towards supporting women in exploring their sexuality and intimacy in a safe way through conversations around consent, healthy communication, and boundary setting. HUD was the first to roll out safety features like auto-blur photos and video chat capabilities. I've been using the app for a little while now, and personally, my favorite feature is the bedroom feature, where I can see a glimpse into somebody's bedroom desires. So, for example, it will literally say Thea's bedroom, and then BDSM, bondage, dirty talk, impact play, etc., which makes it that much easier to assess your sexual compatibility with someone. HUD is really future forward in how they're evolving their app, and I'm excited to continue using it for casual dating. Go to hudapp.com/sextalk, that's hudapp.com/SEGGS talk for a week on me. A quick note, the HUD app is available for both iOS and Android and is available to users over 18.
And things that, or people that are in the restaurant industry, and they're like, I feel so connected to you because you know it's like you've been in the weeds. You my love for Anthony Bourdain. Like, there's so many things and avenues that, again, like it just brings like this authentic connection to people that, of course, they're paying for me. They're watching me do all the things, but they're also there to talk about movies and cooking and travel.
Therapy. It becomes therapy with an upcharge.
Right. Yeah, that's what I found. Pretty much. Yeah, I'm like, and that, I mean, I know anything I do in life because I want to make movies, I want to write, I want to anything I do, and I didn't even realize I was doing this with sex work, but I just want people to know that they're not alone.
Totally.
That's been my drive for anything in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And so it's been nice. I'm like, I feel like I do give that to them. And I
want people to feel less shame about sex.
And also be more educated. Like, I don't know what this looks like, but I was talking to a girl the other day who's been a performer much longer than me, but we were talking about like how there needs to be like a book or like a video or something that you give like 18-year-olds when they get in the porn industry or any girl. Like, anyone just needs to know there are just like certain things they need to know, and also like they need to be very aware of what they're putting their body through and how to check in, because like when any of the women that have left the porn industry that are resentful towards it also don't take accountability in the fact that they didn't get into it for the right reasons. Sure. So, of course, like, it's a business relationship, and you need to know how to build that. And if you're doing it to spite a ex-boyfriend, or like that's like one of the biggest porn stars I know, and she's like, she like talks shit on it all day. She tried to save. Yeah, it was like, if I ever saw that girl, I'd be like, girl, we need to talk. We need to sit down for a minute. Like, but again, like, not to like dismiss her experiences and what she went through, but that's why I'm like, girls will get in and do everything, do all the gnarliest shoots.
Well, and when they're
say
18.
yes, and that's why, and they say yes, and then they get the award, and then they're out, and then they're left feeling like this industry took so much from me, and I don't feel like a human anymore.
And that's the narrative that I saw just as an outsider.
Why,
and it's a bummer that's the
and it's still, I got. And I'm sure there's still, again, people who don't necessarily do it right, or they work with the wrong companies or the wrong people, or they go to an agency and their agent just tells them like, I'll make you famous, but you got to do A, B, and C, you know? So it's like, I want to like make an educational video, but I'm just like, I don't know where the fuck I would post it. Like, but there's just so many things.
Link in bio, baby. Red flags.
That's true. I'm like, maybe I'll do something on OnlyFans, but
I mean, I'm 31 and have been exploring kink 2 years, and I just in the last year got to a place where, like, if I'm having sex and something doesn't feel good, I can literally express that. And I'm never going to place blame on guys that they, like, went too far because I never said anything. But there were so many times when I wanted to pause or stop sex or, oh, that hurts, but I'll just hold it out, you know? And it's like, it's taken me this long to get to a point where I have the courage and like power to say something and pause a scene or move it, adjust it. And like, so somebody that's fucking 18 that's getting money.
Yeah. And that's what the other thing too is like, they're thinking like $1,000. And then I was like, if I'm not getting residuals, like, no, you're paying me. Like,
residuals meaning like the film scene goes live and then you're tell me more.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
That's like my one tiff. I would say about porn. I'm like, porn stars should get residuals.
Sure.
Not just a flat rate. We just get a flat rate, one-time fee. But I think also with taxes, it just... And as like porn companies, I know like it would be a fucking shit show to go through, especially with banks. But I'm like, we need to figure out some way because when you're new and you're thinking like $1,000 is a lot, like it's
for like
not.
an 8-hour day too or something.
Yeah,
right?
I'm like you should like do the math, like but that's why. But you give it also like teaching girls like start putting that money away. Don't go hustler and start buying all the lingerie you can find like in shop and then nice restaurants because then you constantly are in that cycle of, and like I'm in porn because I like it to do porn. I'm not in it because I need to do porn. And
you can also pick up on that vibe and can't. Like I could see some of these energy.
And that's why like these girls will spend all their money and then they have to book themselves out, and that's like not good on your mind or your body. Because I'm like, there is an ethical way to do this, and there is like right now I'm going to this workshop where I'm going to learn how to be an intimacy coordinator so I can do like talent liaisons on set. And
can you share more about what that is for the vanilla folks? Intimacy coordinator.
Intimacy coordinator. I've only worked on like, it's actually always like European sets, but mostly European sets that have...
Erica Lust, right?
Yeah, Erica Lust and Dorsel and... There's like a few companies though that at least have like people that check in with talent, but intimacy coordinator is kind of there to oversee the scene and just like it's almost like having a second director, which I'm sure can be kind of annoying.
Power struggle,
kind of annoying for directors, but it's also like because there was the one time, I was shooting a scene and. Again, I just wanted I actually liked the person. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. It was like, I wish us off that day, but I was like, we can't reschedule this. But my friend was the intimacy coordinator, Casey Calvert, and she has seen me do a few scenes already. So she was like, I know your body language. She knew if something was off. So she was like, I know your body language. I know what's up. So she cut the scene, pulled me aside. I was like, we don't have to do this scene. And I'm like, but I'm just like, it was for a feature. So I was like, dude, we have to. I'm like, I'm not going to like fuck this day up. Like, we need to stay on the schedule.
I'm getting fucked right now. Like, it's happening.
Yeah, like, I'm like, we're already halfway done. She cut the scene 15 minutes earlier than it needed to be because she was like, she was like, okay, pop. She was like, no. Like, because then I went back to the scene and she could just tell. She's like, you are so tense and you are so not there. She's like, we're not good. She's like, we're good. Like, 30 minutes.
Was there like a cum shot ending? Or,
yeah, like that's
you'd already done that.
Yeah.
Or,
so yeah.
How does that work? I'm like,
that's
an
usually
8-hour
what
day, or like you need that scene though.
I know. So I was like, but I was really grateful, and from then on, I was like, yeah, you sets need that. Sets need to be able to see like, and that's why like we're fucking intuitive. Like we know when
intuitive.
We know when shit's not right.
Your body language, like only if
But also like and Casey's a performer, so it's like only Casey, and that's why too. I've only done it for one scene, was when I was in France for Erica Lust, and I really liked it.
Did you have to cut anything, or like did you have to?
But that's why I had to step in a few times because one of the guys couldn't stay hard. So I'm like, checking in, just like, what's up? And then I was like, you know what, we'll just do this and we're going to make it look good. I'm like, they don't need to see penetration. So you just pretend like you're having sex and just like let him know that it was okay. Like, but that's why I was like, I enjoyed it. Like, it was, I don't know.
Yeah.
And even like, they kind of were like, do you want to do intimacy coordinator? I was like, I'm not certified or anything. And they're like, you're a performer. Like,
you are
qualified. They're like, if anyone's gonna do it, it could be you. So I did it for one scene. And it was,
well, people can get so in their heads about staying hard too that like even that little validation could have broken his train of thought of like
but that's why too, like I know that even as a female performer, like there are times where I'm like, I'm gonna make the day longer if I cut, but you need someone there being like, no, we're cutting, we're taking a break, you go sit down, go like, and we can go talk about it. So that you like can do this scene and feel good, and like, because that's what it should be. It's like porn should feel good. It shouldn't feel like, hell no, it is. It's like it's an energy exchange. Like if you're not feeling up for it, it's like, you get. And that's why too. I'm like, I want people to be educated to know like the power. The like this. When I got into this job, I was like, okay, I am making a lot more money than I ever did as a chef. But that doesn't mean I need to work like a chef. I don't need to be taking on all these roles and
you don't want to burn
hours.
out with
and
this.
That's why I'm like, sex. I love food. I got out of that industry enough to where I still love to cook, and I love sex. I'm like, those are two things I will not ever let myself like have an unhealthy relationship with.
Sure.
And I had an unhealthy relationship with sex, like when I was in my teens, and I had to go through that. I had to go through that journey, and then like go to therapy and realize like that like I wasn't just like a horny person, but I was seeking something else. And once you become aware of that and aware of like the energy that you're putting into sex and the relationship you build with
like
sex,
validation seeking stuff. Yeah, same, working on it.
But it is, and now it's like I very much don't have that feeling anymore with sex. I'm like, it's really based off the vibe. It's based off of like how into someone I am. It's like when I was a teenager and like in my early 20s, I thought that like I was like, I don't know, like this like sexual charged like
I felt rebellious being slutty as a teenager.
Exactly.
Like, fuck you, everyone.
Yeah, I felt like everyone else was always in relationships, and I was just like the Humboldt slut. Especially being in a small town, it's really easy to just fuck around.
So many Eskimo sisters in Humboldt.
Oh my God.
You and I are probably Eskimo sisters.
Oh, I'm sure.
Don't know it.
We won't name drop, but I'm sure. But like, and that's where I had to go through that and realize like, I mean, I never cared like being called a slut or having people think like,
right.
You're
but like,
but
now
for
I get
myself,
paid a lot to do it.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. So I'm like, it was never something I felt ashamed of, but it was definitely something that I was like, this isn't feeding my soul in the right way. And I know that there's a way, again, like porn, anything in life, there's a right way, and there's so many different ways to do it. But for you need to discover like what's the right way for me what's going to make me love this.
Yeah. What happens if you're shooting, you plan a scene, and then you're literally not feeling it that day? Like, have you ever
I've walked off set.
Okay, or you get there and you leave. But
I walked off set because the dude was just being weird. And then afterwards, I kind of felt bad because I was like, maybe he was just autistic.
Oh.
But I've walked off set or...
Like
or I've just communicated. I'm like, you know,
sex is so like has to be day of for me. Like if I like pre-plan shit, I mean, even with I don't know, I have to.
Yeah,
but I'm also not doing it professionally. So.
Yeah, but there is kind of a different mode I go into when it's work. Like, it's so different. Like with partners, like
tell me about that difference, that distinction.
Yeah,
like do you because. You're enjoying it, which I've also watched lots of porn where I can tell the woman is not enjoying it. Like it's very fake, acting.
Yeah.
So you're enjoying it, but how is it different for you?
Well, it helps a lot being, again, like I don't have an agent, so I'm not showing up to sets not knowing who I'm working with or who I'm working for.
Wow.
So I only work with, at this point, I only work with Vixen, Bellessa, Erica Lust, Dorsell. Those are the only companies.
Those are film production companies.
And those are big companies, and those are like companies that I know, I know I'm going to have a good day on set.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, I feel like because of, it's like a job.
Yeah.
I literally will like have my coffee, show up to set, and I'm like,
hello.
Feeling like I'm at a restaurant again almost. Like I'm like, oh, you know.
Do you get makeup and hair done? Do they usually have teams?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes depending on which company. I usually prefer to do it myself because
You're very natural.
Yeah. But no, I just don't like
the heavy porn makeup.
Yeah. But most of the companies I work for, I don't think like none of them require that.
Yeah.
Like so I feel like that helps a lot. Like I know who I'm working with usually, like way ahead of before the scene comes, and then.
Do you feel like you're faking it when you're when you're in a scene, or how does the energy shift from like fucking your partner?
Right.
Yeah.
It'll shift because it's more like I know what I need to do for this to look good, but still, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still like. Yeah, this is fun. Especially like, again, like when I do girl scenes, if it's with a girl, I always, thank God, get paired up with like girls that I'm like, okay, I know she's a little gay. Like, because there's a very big portion of girls in porn that are gay for pay, and it, I hate. I've like it's happened to me.
I can also pick that up on camera.
Yeah,
you like it. You like girls.
I like girls, and I need to be with girls that like girls. And so you thank God.
Is there like a box you can check? Like actually bi.
Yeah,
pretending to be bi.
I know.
Don't really like to actually lick pussy.
Yeah, because anytime I've done scenes with a girl like that, I'm like, I feel gross. This doesn't make me feel good.
But I think also so many women, like with OnlyFans collab content, like they don't want to do it with dudes. They don't want to do it with dudes.
Which I'm
so
like,
they
I get that. And I've been able to tell, and just from watching their stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm good. Or I'm like, I'll say it in a much nicer way, like, I'm not really taking on collabs right now. You know, or that, or I just pretend like I didn't see their message.
Thanks for not leaving me on red. What was I going to say about that? Yeah. Where was I? I forgot what I was going to say about set. So how do porn production...
Oh, you were asking me... Yeah, sorry. I was supposed to talk about the difference between porn sex and partner sex.
Yeah, what you were saying makes sense. Like, it's not about pretending or faking or acting. It's more of like, okay, this is going to look good on camera to like basically a male gaze as well,
and
right?
That's why too. I'm like, we're opening up. Like, the sex.
Here's
I'm having
my
is
pussy.
Like, the sex I'm having on set is very much like, no matter what, my legs are always
vag out.
Yeah, or I'm towards the camera. I'm always towards the camera, and I'm very aware of that's why I'm here. Right. And I can still enjoy it though. I can still enjoy
sex. Feels good.
Yeah, sex is great, especially when it's with someone who's professional at it. And I always like love to build like a nice little friendship with like my scene partners. Like we'll talk before and like be like, so, you know, like, how are you? How's life? How's your? And a lot of porn stars have like partners or like, you know, so which is like again like people think like how could anyone date a porn star? It's like you'd be surprised.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
How many people how many people are...
I feel like so much of that is shifting, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, I actually saw a clip of Angela White on someone's podcast, and she's been married to the same dude for, I think, even before she got into porn.
Wow.
And she was like, the thing about dating a porn star, she's like, we have to have the hard conversations right away. Like, if you're going to be with us, like, I don't think there's no games. There's no...
It actually establishes
there's no beat around the bush.
Transparent.
It's exactly. Like, if you're dating us, and I feel like it just, so immediately we build a different level of trust and a different level of intimacy because there's so much to talk about and unload. Like, pretty much if after like a few times I've hung out with someone, I'm like, okay, I actually like really like you. So like, let's talk about what you're comfortable with and where I'm willing to meet you as a partner. If like you want to be my partner, if you want to see other women, or if you want this to be open, you need to get tested. Like, it's just have those conversations like pretty much the second date for me. Like,
I like that.
But yeah.
And so you have a partner right now, and they're not in the industry.
No.
Right? How does, like, is there some education you have to do of?
Yeah.
Like,
again, I'm like,
again,
it's like,
you're just saying,
and I'm honest. I'm like, just ask me. I will tell you whatever you want to know, whatever you need to know, whatever you don't want to know. Like, and that's the other thing too, is like, I'm definitely not like, just cut off set.
Just the greatest dick.
Just like, but yeah, I mean, I'm not chewy with men right now, so I feel like that helps a lot.
Definitely. Yeah.
But even, I don't know, like, I don't know, it's not like I'm like telling him, about my work day, unless it's like, but there's so many other things I'm doing right now, like podcasting and or like modeling and stuff. So like, I'll tell him about like that.
You've got a very diversified portfolio.
Yes. So it's like, and we're doing like long distance right now, which really is nice. I kind of love that. I kind of like that. I'm like, I feel like it's harder for me to maintain things in LA because I don't know,
hustle and bustle.
Yeah, like, so when we're hanging out or together, I'm like, okay, I can actually like be present and like.
Yes, not be thinking about the money I could be making. Time and money. That's the thing for me too. Yeah.
So I'm like, versus like at home on the computer for fucking 8 hours or on doing a podcast for like 10 hours of a day.
Yeah. Tell me about the intention you have for the podcast, because it's elusive right now.
Yes. It's
or don't, if you can't say anything yet.
Oh no, I can. It's called No Substitutes. I think we pushed back the release date because there's a few more episodes I need to do. But
you went hard, I think, in the studio. Yeah,
I do. In my contract right now, I have to film 4 episodes a day.
When you go into a studio. Oh, do you have a...
I have a whole team. I have
wow. Yeah.
I was not... That's why, like, the fact that you built this from the ground up, I'm very proud, and that's awesome, and you should definitely...
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'd like it to be my full-time job.
Because my whole thing was, like, I like going on podcasts. I like... feel like I could do it, but I was like, I'm not fucking
doing all the.
I'm not.
Well, I mean, that's why I come into a studio. Some people are like, I'm going to learn the camera and the mic, and I'm like, fuck no.
No.
I just want to be able to show up and talk. It's just expensive.
Literally, exactly. So they reached out. There was the guys over at 7 Eckies, and they do like Bad Friends and like a bunch of people. I think they just saw, like, because I was I'm friends with Bobby Lee and
love him.
Like, I'm friends with all those guys, I think. And again, they did like extensive background research on me. And
you're kind of like a good segue, I feel like, to start bridging
so that's
some communities.
Why, and that's what they said. So when they first reached out, they're like, we really want to start doing this like program with like OnlyFans girls. I was like,
program?
Or like this, like, they would I was like, sounds cool. But so they were like, we can come like record at your house. And we can like leave all the gear and you can use it to film like for your OnlyFans.
Okay.
So that you're making
super high quality stuff.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. They had this idea and I was like, I honestly, like, I feel like women like you having a sex podcast is great. But I was like, I feel like I thought they were going to want me to like talk, like do like a plug talk thing.
Right.
And I was like, I really
People
don't.
always have their own outside perspective. Yeah, yeah.
So I was like,
this is what I will do.
Yeah, I was like, I really don't. And they were like, actually, we really want you to do something with the cooking angle. And I was like, okay. And they were like, yeah, let's like, you should have like a podcast where like you talk to people about food. So.
Oh, is that what it is? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the thing. The title is a play on like no substitutes, which means.
Can I have a gluten-free, dairy-free?
Yeah,
but
all
I
that.
actually do need
that. But
love it.
All the questions are like in the question sheet is set out. We're gonna start making it like a menu.
Cute.
So, but it's there's questions about food, but it's mostly just about like getting to know someone and how there's no substitutes to this person. You know, this is someone. You know, I don't want to change you. This is who you are.
That's so
like,
cute.
But you know.
Love that.
So yeah.
And you're well connected with guests. Like I'm excited for you to see it launch. Yeah. If you ever want to chat about podcast sponsorship, I have fucking hustled more than anybody I've met with a new podcast. I got the hacks.
Heck yeah.
Because it's about selling content packages, not just like in ad spots. Okay. I have this whole thing I figured out. So
wow.
Yeah. It's I've made good money, but I mean, it's covered the podcast, so it's like more like breaking even. But
but still,
I have learned a lot. So I'm happy to share.
Yeah,
it can be a good stream of income. It's probably been a third of my income this year.
I'd pay you to do some consultations.
Great. I mean, I'll pay you. We can do a trade. Truly, because I want to build an app. I don't want to actually talk about it too much on here because I'm like, nobody steal my idea. But I want to get your wisdom on the top fans that pay you a lot of money, because that's where I'm kind of going with this thing.
Okay.
So
yeah,
girl. Well, we're at about an hour and a half. Yeah, we are. I could talk to you for a very long time. You're very chill. You're so chill.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed this.
You give Humboldt, hot Humboldt girl in LA. It's working for you.
It's working.
And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.